Hey guys, so as you can see, I have a substitute today, so I recorded this video to help you out with your assignment. When you came in, please make sure you grabbed a bell ringer, okay? It's very important. I need your full first name, today's date, and the class period. Remember, your full first name, full last name, today's date, and the class period. And I'll go ahead and tell you what to write. So last class, and you don't really need to take out this activity, but last class we did topic 5 where we were talking about experiments. And you guys made 12 new friends, right? And you had to find a way to randomly assign them into 2 groups. One wore the strength shoes, one wore the ordinary shoes. And the way we did that is I gave you the cards with their names on it. You shuffle them up and you put them into the 2 groups. All right, and then what you guys were supposed to do, you're supposed to find the proportion of males in each group, the proportion or the average height in each group, and then find the difference of those groups. Then you were supposed to share your data with other people in the class and make a dot plot. This is an example of the dot plots that I've seen in previous years. And what you need to realize based on these dot plots is that they center around 0. Okay, so the question is, why would we want both graphs to center around 0? I'm going to try and break it down for you. It's kind of more of the wording is going to be very complicated in a second, but just listen up. So basically, the whole reason we did the random assignment and we used the cards to put them into 2 groups is because we wanted to eliminate bias, right? So it should make sense that if there was no bias, then our differences should center around 0 because that means there's no difference. So at the end of the day, there should be an average of no difference between our samples if there was no bias. They should look very similar, okay? They shouldn't be all over the place. So on your do now, you can just write it's not biased. I just really need something in your writing, but formally, this is really the answer. This indicates that random assignment is effective because it is balancing out the proportion of men/women and the heights of both groups. On average, the difference between them is 0, okay? You can write whatever you want to write regarding this on your bell ringer. Again, I just need a work sample for that September 30th count. All right, so if district says, oh, you said that person was here today, I need a sample of their work, then I have something to give them, and it's something that we don't really need to keep, okay? All right, so once you complete your bell ringer, please hand it into your class bin and then grab, there's actually 2 papers today. There's going to be the paper out of the top yellow bin as normal, but then there's also, if you notice, there's a black bin with drawers. Also at the front, there's also, it says design an experiment, and it's a rubric. So you need to take one of each paper, please. All right, you're going to need both of those papers. And then I'll get into what we're going to do today. So pause the video, go do that, please, and then come back to the video. All right, so for today's assignment, we're going to look more into experiments. Last class we talked about experiments. We've been talking about observational studies. All right, so the question is, why do statisticians design experiments? And guys, these should all be in your notes from last class. All right, so why do statisticians design experiment? Because it helps to eliminate bias and those confounding variables, those other factors that can kind of skew our data, right? So observational studies, remember, observational. We're just observing what's going on. We have no control over anything. We're just sitting back and watching what's already happening. Because of that, we can't establish a cause and effect because there's all these other factors involved that can skew our study and make it look like there's a relationship when there really isn't, okay? Those are confounding variables. Well, when we do a well-designed experiment, we try and eliminate those confounding variables, all right? So we want to eliminate bias and confounding variables. Sorry if you guys just heard that loud noise. There's a fire drill. So let's get back to it. All right. So why do statisticians design experiments? To eliminate bias and confounding factors. What is something we can't do in an observational study, but we can do an experiment? I basically just told you, right? We can establish a cause and effect in a good experiment where we can't do that in an observational study. What are two essential elements of an experiment? Guys, we got random assignment and treatment. Without both of these items, you do not have an experiment. You need both random assignment and treatment for it to be an experiment, all right? That's something you're going to need to know to be able to identify the difference between an observational study and an experiment on your unit test. Hint, hint, wink, wink, guys. All right. And this is the last topic we're going to cover. Topic 5 ends Unit 1. So you guys have a unit test. All right. It's not today, don't worry, but you guys are going to have a unit test. Not next class. Next class will do review, and then the class after that will be your unit test. So you want to make sure that those little quizzes that you've been doing, you want to make sure that you retake them or schedule a time with me to retake them so that you can bump up your grade and make sure you know the material before the unit test. So come and see me at some point for that. Today is another summative, all right, but this is a good one for those of you who don't necessarily test or quiz well, okay? So it's going to be a group project, and it's a project. So what you guys are going to do basically is you need to find an ad. There's advertisements all over the place, billboards, magazines, commercials, and they have these products that they say are going to do something, right? They're making a claim. So wrinkle cream, guys, this is going to make you look, 15 years younger. Energy drinks, we're gonna make you fly, right? Not literally, but we're gonna make sure that you are able to do whatever you need to do to get through the day. There's energy supplements. There's like muscle milk and all that stuff that says, or things that say we're gonna make you jump higher, run faster, and just perform athletically better overall. Okay, there's a lot of things out there that claim their products are going to do something. Your job is to find an advertisement. I'll get more into detail this in a second, but you're going to find an advertisement either in a magazine. So on my black shelf over by the pod door, on the bottom shelf, there's a cardboard box full of magazines that you guys can use, or you're going to find one on Google, and I'll get to how you will use those in just a second, so don't go getting up and getting them yet. So you guys have that rubric. I am literally going to be looking at this rubric, sitting down with this rubric, and circling in order to give you your grade. So you can see exactly how this is going to be graded. You can make sure you hit the highest value on all of those things that I'm looking for, okay? It is due at the end of class. So here is my ad that I found. We're not getting older, we're getting more demanding. Pantene Expert presents Age Defy. Get hair that acts 10 years younger. So what's the claim? Your hair is going to act 10 years younger. Okay. So first identify the claim in the ad, and then you have to think who would use this product, right? Am I going to give this to, a 12-year-old girl? No, because they don't care if they don't want their hair to act 10 years younger. It's already young, right? So when you're thinking about who or what would be your observational units, think about who would use this product. Try and make it pretty specific. I said 140-year-old women with curly hair. I wanted to eliminate some confounding variables. Curly hair, I have curly hair, so I know that it dries out faster and gets more coarse faster than straight hair. So I picked 140-year-old women with curly hair as my observational units. Now, do I have to go out and find 140-year-old women? No, I'm just saying I'm going to, right? So you can get as creative as you want. What are the variables I'm measuring? So what about these observational units am I going to study? Remember, it's like I'm a scientist doing this experiment. So I get 140-year-old women with curly hair. What am I looking at? What am I going to record for my data? So I said, I'm going to see, do they have the Pantene product or not? Because in my experiment, I'm going to have a placebo. I'll get to that in a second. in general, their hair quality, their overall hair quality, and I'll make categories for this so I can put them in one of those categories. And I'm going to say frizziness, categorical, texture is categorical, number of split ends. Guys, I'm going to actually count how many split ends each one of these 100 women have, okay? Do I actually have to do it? No. So I can totally say I'm going to do that, okay? And that would be quantitative. Make sure that you guys find your variables. They make sense to your ad and your claim, and then you label them as either categorical binary, or quantitative. Make sure they're measurable. All right, what is my sample size? I already told you I got 140-year-old women. Okay, so my sample size is 100. That was included in my observational unit. How will you incorporate randomization? So guys, remember, I have to have random assignment in order for this to be an experiment. And I told you, human selection is biased. You can't eeny, meeny, miny, moe it or hand pick them, right? So in my case, I'm going to number the women 1 through 100 and then use a random integer calculator function to determine the control group. So I'm going to use that function we used in the calculator like we did with the Gettysburg Address problem. You could put names in a hat. There's all sorts of other things that you can do to randomize your selection. So then we need treatment. Remember, an experiment needs to have randomization, random assignment, basically, and treatment. Those are the two things I really need. So my treatment, this is how it's going to work. The control group will receive Pantene without the active ingredients. That's my placebo, okay? They're going to receive my Pantene without the age-defying ingredient, and the treatment group will receive the actual Pantene with the active age-defying ingredients. Is the study blind or double blind? Well, guys, if I say you have the Pantene with the age-defying ingredients and you don't, then why would I do that, right? So my study I picked to be blind. So the control group will receive a blue unlabeled bottle, and the treatment group will receive a red unlabeled bottle. So I know which one they have, but they don't know which product they have. All right, so that is my example for design and experiment. There are posters around the room that you can look at. There's 8 of them, I believe, that you could look at for examples. Please just don't copy them. Try and get something different, and you can use them as a reference and as a resource, but make your own. If you use my hair product one, I'm going to know, right? And that's cheating, so don't do it. So another way, since we've gotten Chromebooks in the school, another great way of doing this is you can do this electronically. That way you're not limited to what ads I have in the magazine. You can find your own ad. You can just type in, advertisement and do Google Images and then just find one you like. And this is an example that I made. So I just found this ad online and I copied and pasted it. And I was able to make it pretty. The way I did this is I used Google Pictures. So if you go into your Google account and you go to your Drive, click New, More, and then you can see Google Drawings. Okay, Google Drawings. This is how I did this. I just copied a picture from Google Images. I pasted it on here. You can do text box. There's lots of stuff that you can do on here to make it pretty. Okay, here is my example. Let's go back to that. All right. So the claim is 5 problems, 1 solution. I'm going to go over to my mouse so I can point. Let me pause this real fast. All right, so here's my claim. Here's the claim that I made, and you can see it says claim, right? I put this little shape on it. So it's 5 problems, 1 solution. It's a little blurry, so I can't read all of that right now. These were all the variables of interest. These are the 5 things it said that it was going to do. I think some of them are like dryness, dullness, frizziness, split ends, that kind of thing. And you can see I labeled them as categorical or quantitative. So those are my variables of interest. I have my observational units. My observational units are 140-year-old white women with brown curly hair. I made it as specific as I could to avoid that confounding, okay? So my sample size I said was 100. My experimental design, each subject will be assigned a number 1 through 100, and two groups of 50 will be formed using a random generator in the calculator. That's my random assignment. The first 50 will receive the active product, and the second group will receive a shampoo without the active ingredient. So this is my treatment. This whole thing is my treatment, and it includes a placebo. So you can see how I kind of color coordinated that so you could see what's what. Um, each subject is instructed to only use the assigned shampoo for 6 months. The variables will be recorded at the end of the 6 months to see if the product lives up to its claim. So I'm not making up results here. I'm just designing the experiment that potentially someone else could do. All right. So this example is on Schoology. You would download this to a PDF and then upload it to the assignment on Schoology, and that's how you would hand this one in. If you're doing an actual poster, I have poster paper in the back of my room by the lamp on that table back there. Please cut it if you're not going to use the whole thing. They don't need to take up the whole size of the poster, all right? I've got other paper there you can use. I've got stuff you can use in that plastic drawer thing on the front. There's scissors, there's glue sticks. You can use the markers and colored pencils on my black shelf. All right. You can use anything in my room that's on that black shelf, in that drawer set, or on the back table by the lamp. You cannot use anything in the big shelf that's covered by my beautiful tapestry. You cannot use anything from my desk. All right. So make sure you have you have access to materials that are provided. If you have your own materials that you feel like you want to use, that's fine as well. All right. But I don't have anything extra for you to use. Okay. Again, there's 8 posters around the room for your reference if you're doing a physical poster. When you are finished with this, if you're doing a physical poster, please put it on top of my metal cabinet with my combination lock on it by the calculators. So put it on top so it doesn't get lost. All right. If you're worried about it getting lost or you need time to finish it at home, make sure you bring it next class. Okay. Please be kind to the substitute. Show her what awesome students you are. Okay, and show them how we can end the day on a good note. Okay. If you have any questions, email me. I can't promise that I'll be able to get to you. I have a doctor's appointment for my back. So, but feel free to email me or come and stop by tomorrow. Okay. All right. Have a wonderful weekend because I don't see you until next week. And I will talk to you soon. Good luck, guys.